The lure. The silent void of space stretched endlessly beyond the reinforced viewport of the UES Horizon, humanity's newest long-range exploration vessel. Captain Maya Reeves stood with her hands clasped behind her back, dark eyes fixed on the swirling cosmic dust that marked the boundary of the Cygnus Reach, territory no human had ever properly mapped. Picking up an anomalous signal, Captain Lieutenant Raj Patel announced from his station, fingers dancing across the holographic interface. It's artificial, definitely not natural radiation. Maya turned, one eyebrow arched. Source. Unknown, but it's coming from coordinates just beyond that nebula formation. Raj replied, projecting the trajectory onto the main view screen. It's strange, almost like a distress beacon, but the modulation pattern doesn't match anything in our database. Commander David Chen, Maya's second-in-command, stepped forward, arms crossed over his chest. Could be a trap. The Arcturus incident last year proved we're not alone out here. Maya nodded, remembering the mining colony that had gone silent. By the time reinforcements arrived, they found only empty habitats and blood-streaked walls. The official report blamed pirates, but the whispers among the fleet suggested something far worse. Could also be first contact. Dr. Eliza Nakamura countered, the exobiologist's eyes gleaming with barely contained excitement. The signal structure suggests intelligence. This could be what we've been searching for. Or what's been hunting us, Security Chief Jackson Cole muttered, hand instinctively drifting toward his sidearm. Maya considered her options. The Horizon was equipped with the latest defensive systems, but they were still 5 days from the nearest reinforcements if things went south. And yet, exploration was their mission. Discovering the unknown was why they had ventured this far. Prepare a detailed scan, she ordered finally. I want to know everything about that signal before we get any closer. And alert the crew. We may have first contact protocols in effect soon. As the Horizon cautiously approached the coordinates, the signal grew stronger, more insistent. The source gradually came into view, a massive structure floating against the backdrop of stars, its design unlike anything human engineers had conceived. It's a station, Raj breathed, eyes wide as sensor data flooded his screens. And it's huge, Captain. Approximately 14 kilometers in diameter. Life signs? Maya asked, her throat suddenly dry. None that our sensors can detect, Eliza replied. But there's minimal power running through some sections. It's not completely dead. The station hung in space like an abandoned cathedral, its intricate spires and curved segments suggesting an aesthetic sense as much as functionality. Dark gaps in its hull betrayed damage from what could only have been weapons fire. Something bad happened here, David observed grimly. The signal's coming from the central hub, Raj reported. It's definitely a distress call now that we're closer. The translation matrix is trying to decode it. Any ships in the vicinity? Maya asked. None, Captain, Jackson replied. We appear to be alone. Maya's decision crystallized. Prepare a boarding team. I want environmental suits, weapons check, and full reconnaissance protocols. I'll lead. Captain, Raj interrupted, his voice suddenly tense. We're being hailed. A new signal, different from the distress beacon. The view screen flickered, then resolved into the image of a being that was unmistakably alien. Its features were vaguely humanoid. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. But the similarities ended there. Its skin was a pale blue, almost translucent, revealing a network of darker veins beneath. Large, multifaceted eyes dominated a narrow face, and when it spoke, a thin membrane vibrated along its neck. Greetings, humans, the alien said, the ship's translator converting its musical tones into English with only a slight delay. I am Ambassador Vexen of the Vaxteri Collective. We detected your approach and are relieved to find intelligent life. Our research station has been attacked, and we require assistance. Maya stepped forward, careful to keep her posture open and non-threatening. I am Captain Maya Reeves of the United Earth Ship Horizon. We received your distress signal and came to investigate. What happened to your station? The alien's eyes shifted, a ripple of darker blue washing across its skin. The Krell happened. They are scavengers, destroyers. They attacked without warning, disabled our defenses, and began stripping our technology. Most of our people evacuated, but some of us remained hidden to prevent them from taking our most sensitive research. These Krell, David asked, are they still aboard the station? No, Vexen replied. They departed 3 solar cycles ago, but not before damaging our communication array. We cannot contact our homeworld for rescue. How many of your people remain on the station? Maya inquired. 23 survivors, the alien answered. We have limited power and our life support systems are failing. Without assistance, we will not survive another cycle. Maya exchanged glances with her senior officers. This was precisely the kind of first contact scenario Earth had prepared them for, peaceful, based on mutual need. Still, caution remained paramount. We'll send a team to assess the situation, she decided. If it's as you describe, we'll provide whatever aid we can. We are eternally grateful, Vexen bowed, the gesture oddly human. I will meet your team at docking port 7. It remains functional. As the transmission ended, Jackson moved closer to Maya, speaking in a low voice. I don't like this, Captain. It's too convenient. Noted, Maya replied, but we can't ignore a genuine distress call based on suspicion alone. Prepare the team, full security protocols. And Jackson, you're with me. The boarding team assembled in the shuttle bay. Maya, Jackson, Eliza for biological expertise, and Lieutenant Kai Wong, their best systems engineer. As they suited up, Maya caught Jackson checking his pulse rifle for the 3rd time. Expecting trouble, Chief? She asked quietly. Always, Captain, he replied without looking up. The universe isn't kind to optimists. The shuttle journey to the station was tense, the massive structure growing ever larger in their viewport. Up close, the damage was more evident. Sections of hull plating torn away, exposure to vacuum, evidence of precision strikes against key systems. This wasn't random, Jackson observed. Whoever hit this place knew exactly what they were doing. Docking port 7 opened to receive them, atmosphere hissing as the airlock pressurized. According to their scanners, the air was breathable, primarily nitrogen and oxygen, though with trace elements not found in Earth's atmosphere. Helmets stay on until we've confirmed it's safe, Maya ordered, receiving nods from her team. The inner door slid open to reveal Ambassador Vexen, flanked by 2 other Vaxteri. All 3 were slender, with the same translucent blue skin, though one was noticeably taller and had a crest of darker tissue along its skull. Captain Reeves, Vexen greeted them with another bow. These are my colleagues, Science Director Melinar and Security Coordinator Laxver. We welcome you to what remains of Outpost Seldera. Maya inclined her head. Thank you for meeting us. We've brought medical supplies and technical assistance. Your gesture is most kind, Vexen replied. Please, follow me to our command center. We can better explain our situation there. As they walked through the station's corridors, Maya noted the advanced technology surrounding them. The walls themselves seemed semi-organic, pulsing faintly with bioluminescent light. Doors opened with a thought rather than touch, the interfaces sensing neural patterns rather than physical commands. Your technology is remarkable, Eliza commented, her scientific curiosity evident despite her cautious stance. What you see is mere survival technology, Melinar replied, speaking for the first time. The science director's voice was higher-pitched, almost musical. Our primary research was conducted in laboratories now destroyed by the attack. What kind of research? Maya asked. A hesitation, barely perceptible. Interstellar communication techniques, ways to reach across vast distances instantaneously. Faster than light communication. Kai asked, eyes widening. That would be revolutionary. Indeed, Melinar acknowledged. which is why the Kreldaff targeted us specifically. They reached the command center, a circular room dominated by a holographic projection of the surrounding space. Maya immediately noted that Earth was not visible on the map, either deliberately omitted or simply out of range. Our most urgent need is power restoration, Vexen explained, gesturing to damaged systems. Our life support can only maintain habitable conditions for another 20 hours without repairs. I can help with that, Kai offered, already examining the alien interfaces. Our technology is different, but I can adapt. Your assistance honors us, Vexen said. Laxvir will provide access to our systems. Maya watched as her engineer and the Vaxteri security officer moved toward a damaged console. Something felt off. The damage was extensive yet selective, targeting communications and defenses, while leaving life support functional. It suggested precision rather than wanton destruction. I'd like to establish a communication link back to our ship, she said, to coordinate our assistance efforts. Vexen's skin rippled with that strange blue wave again. Unfortunately, our internal communication relays were damaged. Any signals must be routed through our central processor, which is currently operating at minimal capacity. Jackson caught Maya's eye, a subtle signal passing between them. The isolation was concerning. Then I'll return to the shuttle to update my crew, Maya decided. Chief Cole will accompany me while Dr. Nakamura and Lieutenant Wong begin their work. As you wish, Vexen agreed smoothly. Laxvir will escort you. As they walked back toward the airlock, Maya's unease grew. The station's layout had subtly shifted, corridors that had seemed straight now curved, distances that had seemed short now stretched longer. Is it just me, she whispered to Jackson, or is this place changing? Not just you, he confirmed, hand resting on his weapon. And our guide is taking a different route back. They reached a junction that Maya didn't recognize. Laxvir paused, turning toward them. A moment, Captain. There is something ahead that requires my attention. The Vaxteri moved forward, touching a panel on the wall. Instead of the expected door, a force field shimmered into existence behind them, cutting off their retreat. What is the meaning of this? Maya demanded, her hand dropping to her sidearm. Laxvir turned, all pretense of friendliness gone. You should not have come so willingly, human. Your species' curiosity is your greatest weakness. Jackson's rifle was up in an instant, but before he could fire, a surge of energy pulsed through the floor, sending both humans to their knees as their suits' systems flickered and died. The others, Maya gasped, fighting against the paralyzing energy. Your crew members are already secured, Laxvir stated coldly, as is your ship. As darkness closed in around her vision, Maya saw more Vaxteri approaching, dozens, not the handful they'd been told survived. The last thing she heard before consciousness fled was Laxvir's voice, speaking to someone else. The trap worked perfectly. Begin the extraction process. Their technology will advance our cause significantly. Then blackness claimed her, the realization that they'd walked willingly into a carefully orchestrated trap burning in her mind. The deception. Maya awoke to the sharp tang of antiseptic and the rhythmic beep of unfamiliar machinery. Her body felt leaden, unresponsive, though her mind raced with crystalline clarity. The room around her was clinically white, featureless except for the bed she lay on and the equipment monitoring her vital signs. Captain, are you with us? The voice belonged to Eliza, who leaned into Maya's field of vision, concern etched across her face. A bruise darkened her left cheekbone, and a hastily bandaged cut ran along her hairline. What happened? Maya managed, her voice a dry rasp. The crew. The horizon. The Vaxteri played us, Jackson growled from somewhere beyond her sight. This whole thing, the distress signal, the damage station, the sob story about being attacked, it was all a setup. Memory flooded back. The force field, Laxvir's betrayal, the pulse that had disabled their suits and weapons. Maya struggled to sit up, finding her limbs finally responsive if unsteady. "Where's Kai?" she asked, noticing the engineer's absence. Eliza and Jackson exchanged glances. "They took him," Eliza explained quietly. "Said they needed someone who understood our propulsion systems." "And the horizon?" Jackson's face darkened. "They've seized it. Used some kind of energy net to disable the engines when we didn't report back on schedule." David tried to break free, but he trailed off, the implication clear. Maya swung her legs over the edge of the bed, ignoring the wave of dizziness that accompanied the movement. "So we're prisoners." Along with about 30 other humans, came a new voice from the doorway. A tall, lean man with a military bearing entered the room. His uniform, though torn and stained, clearly belonged to Earth's colonial defense force. The insignia on his collar marked him as a commander. "Commander Victor Hayes, CDF Intrepid," he introduced himself with a curt nod. "My ship was the first to fall into their trap 3 months ago." "Captain Maya Reeves, UES Horizon," she replied automatically. "What exactly is going on here, Commander?" Hayes gestured for them to follow him. The door wasn't locked, a curious detail that Maya filed away for later consideration. They entered a larger chamber where approximately 20 other humans sat or stood in small groups, their expressions a mixture of resignation and simmering anger. "Welcome to what we call the holding pen," Hayes said grimly. "The Vaxteri bring us here after they've captured each new ship. So far, they've taken 3 Earth vessels, my Intrepid, the science vessel Copernicus, and now your Horizon." "Why?" Jackson demanded. "What do they want?" "Our technology," Hayes answered simply. "The Vaxteri are technological parasites. They don't innovate, they appropriate. Their entire empire is built on stolen tech from dozens of species across this sector." Maya's mind raced, processing the implications. The distress signal, the damaged station. It's all a hunting strategy. Exactly. A woman in a science uniform joined them, introducing herself as Dr. Sarah Chen from the Copernicus. They set the trap, wait for someone to investigate, then spring it. They've been doing it for decades, maybe centuries. "But why keep us alive?" Eliza asked. "Because technology isn't enough," Hayes explained. "They need to understand how it works, how to maintain it, how to integrate it with their existing systems. And for that, they need us." He led them to a viewpoint overlooking a massive hangar bay. Through the transparent barrier, Maya could see all 3 human ships, the sleek Intrepid, the bulbous research vessel Copernicus, and her own Horizon. Vaxteri moved around, and inside them like insects swarming over fallen prey, systematically disassembling sections and carrying components away. "They're harvesting them," Maya whispered, horror and rage battling for supremacy in her voice. "And learning everything they can in the process," Hayes confirmed. "They've been especially interested in our FTL drives. Apparently, our method is more efficient than what they've stolen from other species." Jackson pressed his forehead against the barrier, eyes fixed on the horizon. "What about the rest of our crews?" "The Vaxteri keep most crew members in stasis," Dr. Chen explained. "They only wake those with technical knowledge they need. Engineers, scientists, navigation specialists, and command officers," Hayes added with a humorless smile. "They like to interrogate us about Earth's defenses, fleet deployments, colony locations, standard military intelligence gathering." "Have you told them anything?" Jackson asked sharply. Hayes met his gaze steadily. "We've told them exactly what we wanted them to know, Chief Cole. Nothing more, nothing less." The cryptic response sent a ripple of understanding through Maya. The prisoners weren't as defeated as they initially appeared. "You've been feeding them misinformation," she deduced. "Among other things," Hayes confirmed. "The Vaxteri are arrogant. They believe their technological superiority makes them invulnerable, especially against primitive species like us. They don't expect resistance, which makes them careless." "We've been working on a plan," Dr. Chen added in a lower voice, glancing toward the other humans gathered in small groups around the chamber. But we needed more people, more expertise. Now we have you, Hayes said, his eyes never leaving Maya's. And if your security chief's reputation is anything to go by, we just got the final piece we needed. Maya looked between them, sensing the undercurrent of carefully nurtured hope. What exactly are you planning, Commander? Liberation, Hayes replied simply. And then retribution. Before he could elaborate, a door slid open, and 3 Vaxteri entered, led by the now familiar figure of Ambassador Vexen. The alien skin had taken on a deeper blue hue, possibly indicating excitement or pleasure. Captain Reeves, Vexen greeted her with false cordiality. I trust you have recovered from the transitional procedures. Your physical resilience is quite remarkable for your species. Maya straightened, fixing the alien with an icy stare. Cut the diplomatic facade, Vexen. We know what you are and what you're doing. A ripple of amusement passed across the alien skin. Directness, another admirable human trait. Very well, Captain. Yes, we have appropriated your vessel and will extract all useful technology from it. Your crew will provide necessary expertise, then join the others in long-term biological storage. For what purpose? Maya demanded. Study, resource, perhaps eventual biological integration. Vexen replied casually. The specifics need not concern you. What should concern you is your immediate cooperation. The alien gestured, and one of its companions stepped forward, holding a neural device that Maya recognized from her interrogation training. We require detailed information about Earth's defense systems, particularly the orbital platforms around your homeworld. Maya's expression remained impassive. And if I refuse? Then we extract the information less elegantly, Vexen stated. The process is typically fatal, though the data retrieved is often fragmented. A regrettable waste of a valuable biological specimen. Jackson tensed beside her, but Maya subtly signaled him to stand down. This wasn't the time. I'll cooperate, she said finally, ignoring Hayes' sharp glance. But I want guarantees for my crew's safety. Vexen's facial membrane vibrated in what might have been laughter. You misunderstand your position, Captain. You will cooperate because you have no alternative. The welfare of your crew depends entirely on the value of the information you provide. As the alien turned to lead her away, Maya caught Hayes' eye one last time. The commander gave an almost imperceptible nod, and she understood. Whatever plan they had been formulating would continue, with or without her immediate involvement. The interrogation chamber was designed for psychological intimidation, its walls lined with instruments of unclear but obviously sinister purpose, the lighting harsh and disorienting. Maya was secured to a chair that monitored her vital signs, the neural interface positioned at her temples. This device will create a harmonic resonance with your thought patterns, Vexen explained, adjusting settings on a control panel. It cannot directly read your memories, but it can detect deception. Lying will result in discomfort. Before we begin, Maya said, stalling for time to observe the room's layout, I want to understand why. Why target us specifically? There must be dozens of spacefaring species in this sector. Vexen paused, seemingly pleased to have an opportunity to boast. Humans possess a unique technological approach. Your solutions are inefficient but innovative, combining elements in ways no other species has attempted. This makes your technology particularly valuable to us. So it's not just theft. It's plagiarism, Maya remarked dryly. The alien's skin darkened. A meaningless distinction. Knowledge belongs to those with the wisdom to use it. Now, let us begin with Earth's orbital defense grid. Describe its configuration and vulnerabilities. Maya began speaking, carefully mixing truth with fabrication, watching for reactions from the neural interface. Each time she approached a dangerous lie, she pulled back, offering instead a partial truth or outdated information that would seem valuable without compromising Earth's actual defenses. Throughout the interrogation, she maintained her awareness of the room, noting entry points, guard rotations, and the location of what appeared to be an emergency protocol panel near the door. Every detail might be crucial for whatever Hayes and the others were planning. After what felt like hours, Vexen finally stepped back, apparently satisfied. "Your cooperation has been noted, Captain. Perhaps your crew will enjoy extended consciousness as a reward. Particularly your engineer, Lieutenant Wong, who has proven exceptionally knowledgeable about your propulsion systems." "I want to see him," Maya demanded. "That will not be possible at this time," Vexen replied dismissively. "He is currently engaged in critical work." As Maya was escorted back to the holding area, she observed the station with new eyes, noting security protocols, patrol patterns, and potential weaknesses. The Vaxteri had designed their station to trap unwary travelers, but they hadn't designed it to hold determined prisoners plotting rebellion. Hayes was waiting when she returned, his expression carefully neutral until the guards departed. "How much did you tell them?" he asked without preamble. "Enough to seem cooperative," Maya replied. "Not enough to endanger Earth. They're particularly interested in our defense systems." "Same questions they asked me," Hayes nodded. "They're planning something big. An invasion, most likely." "With 3 ships?" Maya's skepticism was evident. "Not just our ships," Dr. Chen joined them, keeping her voice low. "They've taken vessels from at least 5 other species that we know of, and they're adapting the technology, combining elements from each to create something new." Hayes gestured for them to follow him to a corner of the room where Jackson and several others from the Intrepid and Copernicus had gathered. A crude map of the station had been scratched into the underside of a table, hidden from casual observation. "We've been mapping the facility for months," Hayes explained. "They let us move around more than you'd expect. They don't consider us a threat, just resources to be exploited. Their arrogance is their weakness." "What's your plan?" Maya asked, studying the map intently. "We take back our ships," one of the Intrepid's crew, Lieutenant Farid, explained. "We've identified the control systems they use to keep them immobilized. If we can disable those, we can reactivate our own systems. The problem has been coordination," Hayes added. "We needed a way to move simultaneously on all 3 ships without alerting their security systems. That's where your security chief comes in." All eyes turned to Jackson, who looked momentarily surprised. "Commander Hayes has been gathering intelligence on you since you arrived," Dr. Chen explained. "You were the security chief who reprogrammed the defense grid during the Ganymede incident, right? Created a cascading system failure that looked like natural deterioration." Jackson's expression darkened at the mention of Ganymede, a classified operation that had saved the Jovian colonies from terrorist control. "That information is restricted." "Not restricted enough, apparently," Hayes said. "The point is, we need someone with your skills to create a similar distraction here, something that will draw their attention away from the ships long enough for us to make our move." Maya studied the map more closely, her mind racing through possibilities. What about their security protocols? Sensors? Guards? "They rely almost entirely on automated systems," Lieutenant Farid said. "Very few actual guards. They don't think they need them. And their sensors are designed to detect incoming threats, not internal ones," Dr. Chen added. "We've learned to move in their blind spots." "What about the other crew members?" Maya asked. "The ones in stasis." Hayes' expression grew grim. "That's the hardest part. We've located the stasis chambers, but waking everyone would trigger alarms. We'd need to extract them after we secure the ships." Maya traced a section of the map with her finger. "These are the power distribution nodes." "Yes," Dr. Chen confirmed. "They run on a redundant system, but there's a primary control nexus here." She pointed to a chamber near the center of the station. "And what about communications?" Maya pressed. "Even if we retake the ships, we need to warn Earth about the Vaxteri threat." "That's been our biggest challenge," Hayes admitted. "They've integrated parts of our communication systems into their own network. We haven't found a way to send a message that wouldn't be immediately detected and blocked." Maya's eyes narrowed as a plan began to form in her mind. Maybe we don't need to evade their network. Maybe we use it instead. What do you mean? Jackson asked. If they've been studying our technology so closely, they'll have learned our communication protocols, integrated them into their systems. Maya explained, her voice gaining intensity. We don't try to break out of their network. We turn it into a broadcast tower. Understanding dawned on Hayes' face. Send a warning using their own systems. And then overload those systems immediately afterward. Jackson finished, a slow smile spreading across his face. Create a cascading power surge that would disable their control over our ships while simultaneously broadcasting our warning. It would only give us minutes, Dr. Chen cautioned, and we'd need access to their central processor. Minutes might be enough, Maya countered, especially if we can coordinate the effort across all 3 ships simultaneously. Hayes studied her for a long moment, then nodded decisively. It's risky, but better than waiting for them to strip our ships entirely and then come for Earth. When do we move? First, we need to get Kai back, Maya insisted, and gather whatever allies we can among the other prisoners. Then we plan every detail meticulously. We'll only get one chance at this. The Vaxteri are scheduled to begin final extraction on the Copernicus in 2 duty cycles, Dr. Chen informed them. After that, they'll move on to the Intrepid and then the Horizon. Then we have our timeline, Maya concluded grimly. 2 duty cycles to prepare, coordinate, and execute our counterattack. As the group dispersed to begin their preparations, Hayes held Maya back for a moment. They underestimated us, he said quietly. All of us. They see humans as clever animals, useful for exploitation, but not truly intelligent, not truly dangerous. Maya's eyes hardened as she watched a Vaxteri patrol pass by the observation window, their movements casual, unconcerned. That's a mistake they won't live to regret, she promised. The trap had been sprung, but the hunters were about to become the hunted. The reckoning. The Vaxteri station hummed with its normal operational rhythm, its sentient and automated systems continuing their methodical work without interruption. In the vast hangar bay, the 3 captured Earth vessels sat immobilized within containment fields, their hulls partially disassembled, internal components exposed like the viscera of prey animals being methodically consumed. In the primary control nexus, Vexen supervised the final preparations for the next phase of technological extraction. Satisfaction rippled across the ambassador's blue skin as reports flowed in from various sections of the station. The human propulsion systems have been successfully integrated into Test Platform 7, a technician reported. Efficiency has increased by 23%. Excellent, Vexen replied. And the weapons systems from their Intrepid vessel. Integration is at 70%. The targeting algorithms are particularly advanced. Vexen's membrane vibrated with pleasure. These humans continue to surprise me. Their technology is crude, yet ingeniously designed. Their defensive capabilities far exceed what one would expect from such a young species. Should we be concerned? Science Director Melinar inquired, joining them at the central console. If their homeworld is similarly defended, our harvesting expedition may encounter resistance. A minor consideration. Vexen dismissed the concern with a casual gesture. Their ships fell easily enough into our trap. Their homeworld will prove no different once we arrive with our enhanced fleet. The humans themselves have provided us with detailed information about their orbital defenses. Unbeknownst to the confident Vaxteri, their station had already been compromised. Throughout the facility, human prisoners moved with careful precision, executing the plan that had been days in refinement. In a maintenance shaft near the primary power distribution node, Jackson Cole and Lieutenant Farid worked silently to modify crucial control systems. Using tools fashioned from scavenged components, they bypassed security protocols and inserted command overrides that would activate at the precisely coordinated moment. Last connection, Jackson whispered, fusing a final circuit into place. Status green. Yours. Fareed checked a makeshift diagnostic device cobbled together from spare parts. Green across the board. Phase 1 complete. Elsewhere, Maya and Commander Hayes moved through a seldom-used corridor toward the central processing hub. Their stolen Vaxteri maintenance uniforms wouldn't withstand close inspection, but the aliens' confidence in their security systems meant that patrol coverage was minimal in these back sections. "Security checkpoint ahead," Hayes murmured, checking the small scanner Dr. Chen had modified from a medical device. 2 guards, standard rotation. Maya nodded, tapping a communicator disguised as a Vaxteri tool. "Eliza, we need a diversion on level 3, Section K." "Roger that," came the biologist's quiet response. "Diversion in 3, 2, 1. An alarm blared from 3 levels below, nowhere near their critical systems, but disruptive enough to demand attention. The guards at the checkpoint received an alert on their devices, and after a brief consultation, one departed to investigate while the other remained at his post. "One down," Hayes observed. "How do we handle the second?" Maya reached into her pocket, withdrawing a small device Kai had created before being taken to work on the Horizon's engines. "With this." As they approached the checkpoint, the remaining guards straightened, eyeing them with suspicion. Maya activated the device, which emitted a specific frequency matched to Vaxteri neural patterns. The guard stiffened, his multifaceted eyes losing focus momentarily before he collapsed. "Temporary," Maya explained, stepping over the unconscious alien. "We have maybe 5 minutes before he recovers." "That's all we need," Hayes replied, accessing the checkpoint controls to open the secure door beyond. The central processing hub was a cathedral to alien technology. Vast banks of semi-organic computational systems pulsed with bioluminescent energy, processing the massive data requirements of the entire station. At its center stood a crystalline structure nearly 5 meters tall, housing what appeared to be the main control interface. "There it is," Hayes breathed, approaching the crystal. "That's our target." Maya activated her communicator again. "Dr. Chen, we've reached the processor. Beginning Phase 2. "Understood," came the scientist's reply. "Kai is in position on the horizon. We're ready when you are." Maya removed a data device from her belt, a hybrid creation combining human technology with scavenged Vaxteri components. It contained a specially crafted program that would serve multiple functions: broadcast a warning to Earth about the Vaxteri threat, temporarily override the station's security systems, and